Buddhist sermon. Buddhist sermon is delivered by Venerable Waligepola Seelawansha Tero.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I pay my respect to the Buddha, the exalted one, the Arahant, the fully enlightened one. Sabba papassa akaranang kusalassa upasampada sacitta pariyodapanang etang buddhana sasanang. Not to do bad, to do good, to purify the mind. This is the admonition of the Buddha. Dear devotees, dear friends, I recited one of the gathas, verses included in Dhammapada, the handbook of the Buddhist, which is similar to Bhagavad Gita to Hindus traditionally. But I like to pay your attention about the gradual training leading to Nibbana taught in Buddhism with the help of this inclusion of this gatha, this verse. As you know that we are living in the world of enjoying sensual pleasures, Kamaloka in Pali language. We want to understand the sorrowfulness of this sphere in this world where there are sensual pleasures, and because of creating some conflicts, some disputes, and also some quarrels among the human beings. So therefore, the Buddha for the first time taught his Dhamma, exposed his Dhamma, mediate, to reduce defiled thoughts, corrupted thoughts, or blemished thoughts, or sullied thoughts in the mind of human beings. So therefore, if anybody wants to get rid of this samsara, recurrent cycle of birth, definitely he should follow the words of the Buddha and suppress the defiled thoughts or corrupted thoughts or sullied thoughts, and finally he must be able to eliminate all the defilements. Then only anybody can get rid of or release from the world and finalize the sorrowful conditions experienced by anybody. So therefore, this gatha is included the path leading to Nibbana. According to the gatha, I think the gradual training to restrain the mind. According to Dhammapada, Chittavagga, I think that is a different chapter included in Dhammapada. The mind is similar to a fish drawn out of the watery abode. Therefore, anybody wants to understand the fickle mind or pulsated mind. So therefore, fickle mind should be controlled or restrained through the gradual path, following the Buddha Dhamma, Buddha's teachings, the words of the Buddha. The pulsated mind is similar to the fish drawn out of the watery abode. And again, that fish is taking effort to go back to the water, which is similar to the sorrowfulness in this world, experienced by anybody. So therefore, in Dhammapada verse, in Pali language, Varijo tale kitto okamokata ubbatu paripandatidan chittam maradiyam pahatave. So therefore, I gave you the meaning of that verse. If anybody wants to follow the Buddha's path leading to Nibbana, the first step is morally purified minded person. So anybody wants to purify the mind morally, that is known as Sila. So anybody wants to follow any kind of Sila or morality, moral principles, should abstain from bad or unwholesome thoughts. That is the meaning of the first line of the verse included in Dhammapada, Sabba Papassa Akaranam. I like to pay your attention about the meaning of Papa, demerits, that is opposing to the merits. I think anybody wants to understand about the nature of the merits experienced by anybody and experienced bad results, he definitely wants to understand about the merits also. So therefore, merit in Pali language, punya, should be practiced by anybody through giving donation or giving up his worldly pleasures, comforts for the betterment, welfare and benefit of the others unconditionally. So therefore, opposing to the merits is papa or demerits. Now anybody wants to collect merits to lead comfortable life should give up demerits. So here demerits means preventing the comfortable opportunities experienced by the others. So therefore, one who prevents the comforts of the others, enjoyment of comforts of the others, is known as demerits or papa. So therefore, one who wants to do merits should avoid from doing bad, unwholesome actions. That is known as morality or sila. Now usually the Pali word sila is the nature. So nature of the human beings or mankind. So anybody practices the nature of mankind or as humanities, he is regarded as a protector of moral principles taught by the Buddha. To become a human being, we must have experiences in the previous births also. Now Buddhists thoroughly believe in previous births. So therefore, as the result of getting rid of or avoiding or abstinence from doing bad, unwholesome actions, he has become presently in the present birth as a human being. As a principle, already he has been avoiding from doing bad. Sometimes because of the negligence, he may do some bad actions, but finally, after understanding the bad results of bad actions, he remove from doing such bad actions further. So therefore, we have become human beings because of abstinence from doing bad. So after becoming a human being, for the comfortable life, for the comfort, long life and some other comforts experienced by a person, human being, we must do merits. But unfortunately, some people, while enjoying some enjoyable comforts, but he prevents the enjoyment of the others. So therefore that is known as papa or demerit. So therefore we must avoid from doing demerits, papa, and do punya or merits for the comfortable life. How far we are wandering in this cycle of birth or samsara until we reach Nibbana. So therefore, Sila, I like to pay your attention of the initiative step in the path leading to Nibbana taught by the Buddha. Sila, avoidance is necessary from doing bad, and in the meanwhile, he must do good also. So therefore, in the process of doing good, always he tries to help the others. That is the way to collect merits. So abstinence from doing bad or unwholesome actions can be experienced, can be practiced by anybody following some different moral principles. Usually, as the Buddhist, we are following some moral principles known as Panchasila, observing and following the 5 precepts, Panchasila. Actually, that is prescribed by the Buddha for the layman. And sometimes they may go to the temples on full moon days and Poya days. They may observe 8 precepts and some other code of precepts taught by the Buddha. So therefore, Sila or morality is prescribed by the Buddha as an initiative step in the process of following the Buddhist path, middle path or eightfold path leading to Nibbana. That is the first step followed by the Buddha. And second one is Kusalassa Upasampada, to concentrate the mind. Concentration of the mind is known as Samadhi. So one who avoids from doing bad or abstain from doing bad can concentrate his mind or contemplate the mind on a certain object which are flowing to the mind, and also he can distinguish the sense data flowing to the mind, and he can distinguish from wrong data from good data, and he follow the good data, sense objects, the perceptions run to the mind, flown to the mind after observing the external world. So that is known as Samadhi. Definitely anybody wants to develop Samadhi or concentration should minimize enjoying the sensual pleasures in the sphere of the sense world or sensual pleasurable world, which is known in Pali language Kamaloka. Now many people, when they are following the experience in the sensual pleasures, they are not donating or giving up any comforts experienced by them for the betterment and welfare of the others. They are not definitely sharing the comforts in this world. They want to accumulate everything given by the nature, given by the phenomenon. But however, those selfish person, because of their selfish ideas, egoistic ideas, they are collecting demerits. So anybody wants to concentrate the mind or contemplate the mind, I think should follow any kind of meditational methods taught by the Buddha. There are two kinds of meditational methods prescribed by the Buddha. Now here, for the purpose of developing samadhi, concentration, usually present day, nowadays, people are following Anapanasati meditation, mindfulness on breath, and also mindfulness is leading to concentrate the mind. And also many people practice, many devotees practice metta bhavana. Metta bhavana means extending the loving kindness, and also added with compassion, developing the compassionate thoughts, and also developing mudita, altruistic joy, extending towards many people, many devotees in the world, and also developing the equanimity also. They are known as sublime qualities taught by the Buddha. So therefore, after minimizing the enjoying sensual pleasures, anybody wants to concentrate one's mind should follow a certain kind of meditational methods which is included in samatha meditation. Samatha meditation means is the method to suppress the corrupted thoughts sprung out of lobha, dosa and moha, lust, hatred and delusion. So how far these roots of corrupted thoughts are haunting in the mind of anybody, cannot concentrate the mind. So therefore, as the first step, he should minimize enjoying sensual pleasures and get rid of them to develop loving kindness, metta, actually which should be extended towards all the living beings, not only towards the human beings but towards all the other living beings. Actually there are some quotations given in Pali text also how to practice metta bhavana. And when they practice metta bhavana or loving kindness extending towards all the living beings, he can select some quotations verbally, and mentally also he can extend the thoughts of loving kindness towards all the living beings. Like, may you live long in peace and happy. So like that, selecting those quotations, he can recite them verbally, and also he can develop those thoughts of loving kindness mentally also. And mental development of loving kindness purify the mind. So therefore he can keep the mind purified forever. So anybody who is having purified mind can succeed any action, any deed doing by him. Sometimes some people complain that the actions doing by them, some deeds doing by them, and some jobs, occupations doing by them, studies doing by them become unsuccessful. Actually, the solution for this unsuccess of many actions doing by many people is to cultivate or inculcate loving kindness, not only towards one selected person but towards all the living beings. Actually, that is the solution. So therefore, for the success of many activities of the people in this world, actually before starting any action, should cultivate and develop loving kindness and some other kusala thoughts, good thoughts or wholesome thoughts. Actually, that is the how to concentrate one's mind. The methodology taught by the Buddha to concentrate the mind is given in Buddhist texts in different ways. He must select a certain object to meditate. Sometimes he can select the breath. He must apply to that object. The mind should be applied to that object. And secondly, he must remain in that object, sustain in that object. That is known as vitakka vichara. So in his practical life, remaining in that object, breath, actually the breath is sometimes a very good object selected by a person, because actually no emotional feelings are erupted when one meditates on breath, ana and apana, inhalation and exhalation. Actually that is automatically doing by a person, just watching at the breath, that object. Actually, when the meditator is practicing continuously, selecting a certain duration of time a day and meditate anapanasati meditation, usually all the defiled parts, defiled thoughts, corrupted thoughts could be forgotten by him. Now that is not the permanent solution to eliminate all the defiled thoughts, but however suppression or subduing, oppressing those defiled thoughts paves the way to concentrate the mind. And also there are over 40 objects prescribed by some ancient monks to meditate, but meditator can select different objects to meditation, to meditate, to concentrate the mind, to suppress all the defiled thoughts. So therefore, third line of this verse is Sachitta Paryodapanam, to purify the mind. For the purification of the mind, anybody can develop his insight and observe all the worldly conditions as impermanent, anicca, sorrowful, and also insubstantial or soulless. Actually, these are known as three characteristics. So therefore, following this gatha, inclusion of this gatha, the devotee can train the mind gradually. They are known as tisikka in Buddhist text, and finally he can attain Nibbana. That is the final goal taught by the Buddha. Thank you very much for listening to my sermon. May you live long in peace and happiness.
Buddhist sermon was delivered by Venerable Waligepola Seelawansha Tero.